Welcome, everybody, to a special 100th episode of No Outside Food Allowed. We are in a very special spot. Eddie, what did you call this place?
A Bond villain's lair.
It is. It very much looks like it. We're actually in Johnny Brendan's office at Brenden Theatres, where we all met and this shindig all began. Woo. We must have worked here, almost 15 years ago now? Is that
Yeah.
But Gagne, of course, he was our big boss man. He was the general manager. Pass it to you real quick. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the place that we're sitting in.
Yeah, so started this adventure in 2001, and I think pretty much everybody came aboard about 2003, if not before then. I think Sam was probably before
Well,
then.
for me, it was the summer. I met you, interviewed with you, kind of close to the summer, near the end of the school year.
Yeah,
Got
so
my interview with you. Yeah.
The Brenden Lair, or as it's I think still called the BCS, the Brenden Celebrity Suite. He was gracious enough to let us use his spot, which was amazing. So big shout out to JJ, who was also a initial hire during her high school days and now runs the place. And she was, nice enough to ask him and get permission for us to come here and reminisce and. Yeah, it's. I walked in yesterday and it was very, very oh my God,
the nostalgia hits you.
The memories all come back, and places that Sam might have punched holes in the walls and other things like that. So
my earliest memory of Sam going full Hulk in the manager's office.
yes.
To defend myself, to be fair, it was Brother Bear. I was only manager, and we had a long ass line of concession that went back to Panda Express. So just to be fair.
Was that the famous Aldo Brother Bear mix-up?
Oh, no.
What did he put on? Kill Bill?
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
In front of Brother Bear.
Instead of Brother Bear.
Wasn't it like a whole just classroom of kids that came in to watch it too?
Totally.
Yep.
And the first scene where she gets shot in the head. So good times. So our name for the show, No Outside Food Allowed, is basically from working at this theater. Busting people left and right for doing that, and we loved it so much that somehow we decided we were going to name our podcast that. But anyway, again, thanks to Johnny Brendan for having us. It's a great place with a lot of fond memories. Today for you guys, we're going to have our debate of movie of the decade, 2010s, and then we're going to have a little quiz by Sam, and then we're going to have our movie draft of the year, which I'm pretty excited for. Felix, you're a two-time champion.
Acknowledge me, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Two-time champion. Going for the three-peat.
We're going to random roll you out of first pick, I think, this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
It's gonna work.
Reverse order.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Well,
I think
fine. Bet I get first pick, second round, right?
The person with the lowest gross goes
Snake
first,
out.
right? That's an idea.
we should do it that way.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to do is start from lowest grossing of last year, and they're going to have first pick. So
Really?
we'll see how that works. Maybe a little bit unfair to our two-time champ, but,
We could do a snake style. We could, he gets last pick, but then he gets first pick. In the
there you
second
go.
round.
That's fine.
It won't be too bad. So, without further ado, let's maybe jump into our debate for best movie of the decade. We did some random polls to see who would be our first debater. So, Eddie.
Yeah, the
welcome.
most
Welcome back,
prepared
Eddie.
guy. Hey, guys, how's it going?
The master debater.
I am
actually
the masturbator. I mean, yes.
Go on.
So, yeah, I picked a Looper because why not? I definitely didn't want to pick a movie that I thought people were going to all pick superhero movies.
Us?
Yes. Why?
Is that your favorite director?
No, he isn't. Actually, I didn't even know who directed this movie when I picked it.
Yo, I'm on the same boat when it comes to movies. I have no clue who directs or produces it.
Okay?
I'll
I'm not
see
one of
you've
those
already
guys.
sold on Chai.
All right, everyone. So you said it was a 2014,
2012.
2012 release starring
Starring Bruce Willis.
and
Jogo.
Okay.
He doesn't like that nickname. But it's
Did he tell you that?
no, other podcasts I've heard that he doesn't like that.
Got it.
Someone said that to him. But yeah, I thought this movie was interesting. It was very different when it came out. Action, the face makeup. Once you kind of get past that, it kind of does look like him in a way. And I thought it was just a really great movie that came out of nowhere. And I didn't know who Rian Johnson was. He has
Most of us didn't at that time.
At the time, yeah.
See, so it was before he made that terrible Star Wars
Decision.
movie. No, that's great. What did he say about that movie? It's all a joke. But I just like the way the time travel worked and how closing the loops and it was just all weird and it was just different, and the way that you could see it going while you were watching the movie. I've only seen it twice. I saw it in theaters and I saw it at home once. And just the way, like, you can see that it was going the way that it was going, and how it ended, you know, I didn't think it was going to do that. Like,
you can spoil it.
Time travel. Time travel's tough for one thing.
Yeah, time travel is always. What is the saying nerds have? Timey-wimey. The other show I've never seen, Doctor Who.
Good reference.
But yeah, I think for there's a lot of movies that have come out in this decade. A lot of comic book movies. It's the thing, and they do a lot. They follow a formula, and they have the action. They have, you know, a little bit of humor, at least the good ones.
Subtle dig there. I see that.
Was that an Anchorman knock or
No, that was
maybe a BVS knock.
BVS.
Oh, okay. always a knock on BBS.
But yeah, I felt like it was different, and I still think it's still unique in these, you know, John Wick. We're gonna get John Wick until people don't like. Don't get me wrong, I love John Wick, but I mean,
21 sequels.
it's gonna be until we hate it, like people have grown to hate Fast and the Furious movies. You know, how many times is he gonna be the number one assassin that everyone wants to kill?
At least 2 or 3 more.
At least. At the
At
very
least,
least 2. But yeah, so I think it holds up even now for this decade and going forward. I think people will probably still continue to like this movie for how different it was.
I will say there was early CGI when they were doing all the kind of face swapping and stuff.
Mhm.
It does kind of look like a younger Bruce Willis if you squint a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but time travel very confusing, but they did a good job of explaining it in a new way.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, closing loops was an interesting idea
Yeah.
for sure. But Ryan Johnson, you know, he went on to do other worse things.
and better things. I mean, Knives
Sure.
Out. Was
I guess
know,
Knives Out.
hey,
That's enough.
O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
Wow.
Go on.
He was a great football player. He may have eventually did something terrible, but during that time,
Your
Hey,
math
he
is
did.
Ryan Johnson.
What?
O.J. Simpson. I just want to
You're
make sure.
horrible. That was
O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay, I gotta ask. Okay, I'm not saying Looper is bad, and I'll take Last Jedi outside of, you know, his body of work. What about this movie stands taller than anything else that's come out this decade? Like, what makes you want to put that on over, I don't know, any of the other choices that you're going to hear today?
because I think it's unique in its action. I think like the time with the time travel and the way, like the gritty underworld that they have with the hitmen.
Yeah.
And the loop, closing the loop, like the way he lives his lifestyle and how they go into that and how he changes before he gets sent back. I think it's different. Like I said, like these action movies, the superhero movies, other than like certain ones like Endgame and where things happened that we weren't expecting, like they kind of follow that similar
The
rules of time.
mold.
Formula that
Like,
Marvel
like I
has.
said, like John Wick, are we ever worried about him as a character? Do we ever think he's going to die? Do we ever, like, even for like half a second, think he's really struggling? Like, he's struggling, don't get me wrong, he got shot 8 times and still going. But that's the thing, is he might as well be the Terminator because you know he's not going to die in the movie named
It's no real
John Wick.
stakes.
Right, there's no stakes. And
The plot armor.
in that whole movie, it's literally his stakes are him. Like, the younger version of him really doesn't give a shit. And he's like, I don't care. Tell me who she is. I'll fucking kill her.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that. And it's like, oh, okay. This guy doesn't get it because he hasn't had the same journey.
He doesn't know yet what's around
Yeah.
the corner. Yeah, I get you, bro. Like it was ahead of its time when it came out, because like it was pretty thought provoking how they used the formula of time traveling and they put it on its head, you know, because it was definitely ahead of its time
Yeah.
when you saw it. Because like, oh shit, like this is actually going on, and like you said at the end, the stake itself, you're like, oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah. Also, Bruce Willis. That's my
Yeah.
last
Doesn't
point.
it lose points for him
Period.
being, like,
No.
you know, an asshole?
Bruce Willis being an asshole in real life?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard to
I
work
mean,
with.
I heard it. Like,
That's too
one of
bad.
my favorite dumb movies is Cop Out, and like
Oh my God.
everything Kevin Smith has said about it is like he never said it outright, but he kind of hinted that Bruce Willis was a real huge dickhead, and I was like, I still love that movie,
And
and I love Bruce Willis.
All of Bruce Willis movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them.
Your favorite Christmas one?
All right, who else has got something
All
to
right.
say about Looper? Because the other acronym of NOFA, which we don't always talk about, is it's no one fucking agrees. And so since this is a debate, I think Sam's being a little bit nice to Eddie. I'd still like to challenge the fact that you picked Looper as the best film of the decade, beyond the fact that it's a good movie.
A personal favorite.
I have never gone, God, you know what movie's really great that I want to put back on today? Never been Looper. I saw it in the theaters, and maybe I need to watch it again, but an interesting choice.
Yeah,
Very
for sure.
interesting. Very interesting.
That's right. It'll be the most unique pick today.
Well,
Doubtful.
Chai's gonna be our end all, say all. But you guys at home, feel free to choose for yourself because it's obviously gonna be mine.
submit your own.
Felix, I think you're next. Is
Am I
is that
going
what we're
next?
doing?
All right, sure.
All right, Felix. What do you
Okay,
got?
so I'll just start out by saying I'm pretty sure we've all been to a point where we've all desired something so much that we'd be willing to go to the brink of insanity to achieve what we want, but we're just never going to really commit and pull that trigger. My film, which is Whiplash, exemplifies exactly what that journey is. When you decide to commit to literally just sacrificing your relationships with those around you, whether it's families or loved ones, whatever, willing to damn near break every bone in your body to damn near death to get exactly what you want to achieve. And that road is never fun. It's never easy. But this movie just shows exactly what two people are willing to go through in order to get exactly where they are. So this movie was released in 2014. It's directed by Damien Chazelle. This is what got J.K. Simmons his Academy Award, rightfully so. If you watch this movie, you got two completely opposite sides of the coin. You got Miles Teller as an aspiring jazz drummer who just really wants to be the best in the world, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get there. On the other side, you have J.K. Simmons as the most militaristic, just asshole instructor you've ever seen, who's willing to break this kid because he wants to find that next successor, that next great jazz drummer. So throughout the journey, you see them both just kind of struggling in their own sense, and it's just one of the most tense, just well-performed movies I've ever seen. No movie has really stuck with me this well, where I've seen it at least 5 times over, and it constantly keeps me engaged. From beginning to end, I am just completely absorbed in, and I'll say that it damn near has probably the best ending I've ever seen for any movie. I will watch this by myself for the first time in my own living room, and I literally wanted to stand up and cheer when it was over. In the last 15 minutes, there's very little dialogue spoken, but you don't need it. There's so much emotion and just so much amazing performance put on there that you know exactly what both of these guys are thinking. And when you see that last exchange between the two of them, they just give a subtle little nod. You really see that they both achieved exactly what they wanted. And whether or not they expected it to be there in that moment, it really will blow you away, to be honest with you. So that's the elevator pitch I have. I mean, honestly, like I said, I can't think of any other movie that's really stuck with me this much in this past decade. And even if you're not a musician, if you're a musician, fine. This will absolutely stand out to you as far as what you can achieve and being a great musician. But you can apply it to any part of life. Like I said, we've all wanted to be somewhere. You want to be the greatest in anything, whatever it might be. And you can relate to the journey and the struggle that these characters feel. And I think that's why it's an amazing movie, because you can apply it to any part of life, not just music. That's just one example. But like I said, if you just wanted just a fantastic, great drama, really nail-biting, tense moments, there's moments in here where he's playing drums and it feels like I'm watching him dismantle a bomb because it's just so tense and it's fantastic, man. Just go watch it. Do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen it, just go watch it.
Has anyone here seen it? I
Nope.
know I have.
I was going to say,
haven't.
I have not seen it either.
Because it's about drumming.
Have you seen it?
A little bit.
Okay.
I will say this, though. I'll bring your wife into this. She said that she watched it. She wasn't crazy because she comes from a background of abuse or physical abuse of some sort. And maybe it triggers some people. Do you think it'll turn some people away from it?
It can, but I think that's also the power of a good film, too. If it makes you feel, whether it's good, bad, negative feelings, whatever
Something,
it is.
anything.
Yeah, a good movie should make you feel something. And just to clarify, she wasn't physically abused. Let's get that out of the way. More just the parents aren't involved in the picture right now, so it kind of leads her little trigger moments. And I can completely understand that, because if you watch J.K. Simmons, he's literally in Miles Teller's face the entire time, screaming.
He was very
berating him.
fucking intense, dude.
It's really intense, and it's really kind of uncomfortable to watch sometimes. But like I said, that is the power of good filmmaking and a great performance, if it makes you feel. Yes.
Okay, so
How about drums?
What about drums? They're hard.
I just want to clarify.
They're hard to play.
No, I agree.
Very hard. Jazz drumming is insane. Yes.
I understand.
Go on.
I'm just. That's just.
The movie's about
That's
drums is what
just-
he's saying.
Yes.
Yep. I'm just saying.
So you're
yes.
Bruce Willis.
Hey.
Final word. Drums.
Basically.
Final word.
Hey.
We're on Whiplash now. Okay?
Weird time traveling, weird makeup.
Yes.
Bruce Willis.
So
I just summed up
So-
your movie.
you said the magic word right there that shot you in the foot. It's Miles Teller, Mr. Fantastic himself.
That movie has nothing to do with this one.
Correct.
Seem to bring up
He's still an actor.
Ryan Johnson's entire catalog
Yeah.
when we're talking
Also
about
true.
my movie.
J.K. Simmons is phenomenal in this movie. I don't like Miles Teller. Like, I just don't. I don't know. Something about him.
I agree.
Don't like,
There's
don't like his
something
acting.
about him that's
Something about his face makes me
It's his
not want to watch a
face.
movie.
It's his
And
acting.
punch babies.
I don't like
He's
it.
got
the
no-
main character in that, and so J.K. got he won an Oscar right for that role because he's amazing. That role is fantastic. The other guy, I'm like,
Is that going to stop you from seeing Top Gun?
no, because he's not the star.
Yeah, but he's still in there.
Goose's
He's Goose's son.
Yeah, probably.
illegitimate
red
child.
shirted anyway.
Probably.
It's Top
Don't
Gun.
know. We haven't watched Top Gun, but I'm
Top
still going.
Gun.
Of course, I'm going to watch Top Gun because it's not about drums.
Oh. All right, Felix. Very good, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Ganya, you're next.
No,
Are we just
Sam.
going Sam?
Sam is next.
Sam.
So I'm going with my classic choice, which is Inception. That was amazing. Like from beginning to end, it keeps you like compelled to the movie. You know, like trying to figure out the storyline, trying to figure out what's going on in this world, and the way they were able to do layers of dream within a dream, and the cast was amazing itself. You know what I mean? Like you had everyone you needed. Like it was such a great film. I remember when it came out in theaters, I had to go watch it like at least 4 times. It was just the sound, the way it was written, and just the duality of things. You know, like he's trying to remember if he's in reality or he's in a dream state. It was just such an amazing film, dude. Like I made my list. I was doing the bracket thing, and I'm like, oh man, it's pretty tough. But if, like Ganya said, if it's something you can put on and watch again, it's definitely Inception. Especially with now being on Netflix, you just put it on and you just constantly draw it in to finish the whole movie itself. Anything better to say, Eddie?
No, I was gonna say.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just gonna say. It's the fans of that movie. Like I love that movie, but like they're like, oh, it's so deep. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, no,
It's a heist movie.
it's a yes,
It's a dream heist.
it's a
is what you're
fantasy heist movie, and the ending I think was pretty clear. Which
Was it? How do you think the thing fell?
he's asleep because
think?
they tell you that if he says it in the beginning of the movie. If I ever see my children's face, I'll get stuck here forever. His children, how long has he been away from his children? The same. They look the same in his little dream. And then they turn around. And the little spinny thing is still spinning, right? And they're like, oh, it might be wobbling. No, it's still spinning.
It was wobbling.
It wobbled, man.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They did it on purpose, yes.
It
but I
wiggled.
mean,
Of
I'm
course.
saying he told you how, unless the children are frozen in time, also doing their thing.
So your argument against it is that it's not deep, and I don't want to defend Sam by any means because Inception's it's up there. But
No, I love the movie. I'm just saying it's not as. I don't think that it ended as vaguely as he would have wanted if you watched the movie more than
It's
once.
not vague. It's supposed to make you question it.
Whatever.
I mean,
That's what I mean.
that's
I didn't
what's-
question it.
That's what's
I
deep
feel
about it.
like-
It's as deep as you want to take it.
All right, but I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like he gave you the answer, and people who think you're questioning it, I think you didn't listen to him give you the answers earlier in the movie. Like it's literally the
But
same.
isn't that
thing.
movie supposed to go that direction? It's supposed to give you like questions, like okay, maybe it
Yeah.
did, maybe it was real, it wasn't.
Yes, but I mean, that's what
He's saying
In
that it
my
never
mind, it
actually
was-
answered or never asked the question.
I'm saying. That from my perspective, he answered the question earlier in the movie, but people are like, "Oh, but is it or isn't?" And I'm like, "No. He showed you these children, this image. He told you, I cannot look at their face because then I will be stuck here because I love them so much." And in the end of the movie, it's them wearing the same exact clothes as he had earlier, and then they turn around and he doesn't look away. He looks, and then he walks away from the top because he's no longer looking at to see if it's still spinning. And yes, I get it does wiggle and wobble.
Yeah, if it does drop though, then those are his real kids, and he can stay there
But
and see their faces.
So how long ago did he leave his children?
they don't specify.
It's been a while.
Right. He said he hadn't been able to go home.
It's been a while. So they were wearing the same exact clothes, looking exactly the same scene.
Yeah, but his wife spent like 50 years in a dream.
Is this your pick?
Yeah. Stop defending it.
I'm just
Don't
trying to
make
play
Sam-
devil's advocate over here.
I'm just saying.
Sam, you talk
and
about
like
your-
I said, I love the movie.
No, I love it. I love this, Adam. This is awesome.
Sam's just sitting back. I made my pick. I'm good, man.
I love them. I love the movie. So I'm not saying that your pick isn't better than my pick. It isn't.
I think mine's a little better. Let's stick to box office numbers on that one.
Box office doesn't mean anything because then we
True.
could just
Okay.
pick
Fast
a
and Furious.
random. There you go. Hobbs and Shaw, better than both of our movies, maybe, if we go by
but you did
numbers.
have-
That's not true.
But
at
there
all.
was the same actor.
The
in both
numbers, though,
movies.
Oh.
if we're going
If we're
by
going off
box
numbers.
office.
Oh, that's true. We do both have the same actor.
Yeah,
in
same
the movie.
actor, and he did a lot better. And I'm just kidding. Okay, I'll leave it at my point.
Jogo? I liked him.
He
I
will
liked
not
him.
be a fan of our show.
I like-
We'll continue to call him Jogo.
All right, good pick, Sam. Gagne.
That's a tough one to go
Yeah.
against because I thought about picking that.
Yeah.
Nolan's. It's hard to get to go against Nolan.
You know
but,
what? He also gave us that annoying bass line that is in every trailer since that movie came out.
Yeah, and that's one thing I will say about Inception. I love Nolan. I love that he does have a certain style, but fuck, can you pick some other actors? Like he always works with the same actors. Like I want to see him break out and not use. And I love these actors, but let's mix it up a little bit. Like I'm excited about Tenet for that reason.
Yes.
Like hallelujah, like you picked some new actors. Like I know that there's going to be some sprinkle in there of his Michael Caine has to be in every freaking movie that he does. Like
You leave Michael Caine alone.
the size of a tangerine, like all the time. But anyhow, let's move away from Inception because this is about me now. Okay, it's about my favorite movie
His
of
Nolan
the
movie.
decade, my new favorite director as well. And you want to talk about thought-provoking? Watch the movie Arrival. Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and that's all you need to know. Denis Villeneuve, who I butcher his last name all the time because it's French, but his last name actually looks like it's supposed to be Spanish. I don't know.
A lot of vowels.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve, I think is how
I
you
believe
actually
it is
pronounce
Villeneuve.
it. But it is Villeneuve. This movie is an alien movie that doesn't need to have aliens. It's centered around a woman who's trying to piece together what has happened to her, and the way the film progresses, you don't know if this is the past. They allude to it being the past only for the grand. I don't want to spoil it.
I haven't seen
because you haven't seen it, but the way it unfolds, it's almost it's a card trick. You know, they're so focused in on you trying to figure out what has been going on. Why is she seeing these visions? What happened to her family? What's going on? Was it based on the aliens? That when they finally show you what's really going on, it blew my mind. I haven't watched a movie that was so technically sound and made me so emotionally invested in characters like that in a long, long time. There's been some movies this year that I thought did good, but they weren't this grand scale of a film. This is a sci-fi film that's like kind of, it's a philosophy film masked as a sci-fi film. It's the alien story without you needing Will Smith to jump in and say,
Punch an alien in the
"Welcome to
face."
Earth."
Yeah.
Bam.
You be careful, sir.
I'm not saying I don't like Independence Day. I'm just saying, look, all the time, and this is what we get into these, like, if it's alien, it's got to be War of the Worlds. If it's zombies, it has to be this huge
It's our
scope.
biggest fear.
Zombies?
Aliens. Something being out there, us not being alone.
The
and
unknown.
Them.
Right, and the movie's supposed to be this whole deciphering their language and understanding why they want to be here, and it's not about that. And it's so emotional that at the end of it, I found myself sitting, and I'll admit this, okay? I'm fine. I sat there crying, like thinking about all the repercussions of what they just showed me, because they don't really pull the veil up until the very, very last 10, 15 minutes of the movie. So you are just left there going, oh my God, how do you have to play the entire movie all over again in your head in order to understand that this means that all of this other shit that we just watched, it has completely different repercussions. And I've watched it at least 2 more times since then, and it still gives me the chills. It still is just so beautifully done. There's subtleness in shots where they're just staring at a white canvas, with the aliens on the other side, and you think something's going to happen, and your emotions get evoked because it's shot almost in that first person style where you feel like you're looking at this. It's one of those movies you have to see in theaters, or at least if you're at home now and you haven't seen it, watch it. Good sound, lights off, like it's supposed to be, like you're at the theater, because this was made for that. And this guy is, I can't wait to see what this director does. You know, furthermore, I love it. Amy Adams has always been, oh yeah, Dune's coming next. She's always been one of my favorites. I think she gets the parts that Lois Lane. So
She was
gotta
terrible,
give the
by
nod.
the way.
We'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Easy
Here we
now.
go.
She's
You
one of
sassy
the best
movie.
actresses
Bring it back.
out there right now, and so just
Sure.
because they didn't make a better story for Lois Lane, that's not her fault. But I'm openly admitting the Lois.
It's one of the things, things wrong with that movie.
Extended version. She's
Oh,
got a lot
God.
more. to
Making
play
it longer
with.
doesn't make it better.
Oh my
Yes, it
God!
does. Yes, it does. Ask Martin
Everybody
Scorsese.
calm down. Play nice.
Anyhow.
Play nice.
That's my
Release
pick.
the Snyder cut.
Don't steal my line.
God damn it. I'm gonna jump across this fucking table. Leave it alone.
Can't stand the fans.
So, we've arrived at the best movie of the decade, and that is Arrival.
You've arrived. I see what you did there.
Ah.
Very good. Chaz, I
Minus
remember that
50
line.
points to Gryffindor.
Look at, he's already remembering the line.
Gryffindor.
Minus 50 points.
Fucking Slytherin.
All right.
Everyone thinks they're Slytherin.
You for sure.
There's a test out there.
So, Arrival. Anybody have anything? Everybody seen Arrival?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Can anybody knock it? 'Cause
You want to know
Go
what?
ahead. I'm
Actually,
trying to
You want to know what's funny?
I can't do the one word thing like I did with yours. Sorry.
It was actually playing at my work.
Language.
yesterday on my break.
Aliens.
Yeah, it was actually on my break yesterday, and I didn't realize it. I was watching the whole film, and I didn't. Now that he mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, that was the movie last night."
Yeah.
So
It's
'cause
definitely a
the whole time I was
thought-provoking
like,
alien movie.
"What is Hawkeye playing?"
Yeah.
And I was
Scientist.
like, "Okay."
That was the extent of the cast, though, was Amy Adams and Hawkeye, right?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Lois Lane and Hawkeye.
It's,
Got
there
it.
you go.
it's a very intimate movie. You know, it takes most of the shots of this interior of the ship, and they're trying to figure stuff out. And then there's it's not this grand alien movie. That's what I love about it.
Well, excellent choice. Let's move on to another Amy Adams alien movie. My choice, 2013's Man of
I was
Steel.
confused for a second.
Forgive me if I read a little bit of this. I wrote most of it down.
Prepared.
So Zack Snyder from 300 and Watchmen, and Christopher Nolan and David Goyer from, of course, the Dark Knight trilogy, come together for Man of Steel. And right away, with Superman not in the title, we know it's going to be a different version of the movie, and obviously darker since the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan. So we start in Krypton, a way fully more a fully realized Krypton, more than we've seen in any other movie, and you can tell from the costumes and the scenes that this is an older Krypton that is going through decline, and obviously.
Like near the end stages.
Yeah, it's near the end. The planet's about to explode, and General Zod comes in. Michael Shannon, this fierce, great enemy of Superman, and great villain in this movie. And then he comes in and tries to claim Krypton's seats. And Russell Crowe comes in, also a great actor. Every time he's on the screen, you just feel the gravitas. And we start with the birth of Superman. And this movie really is about Superman being an alien and not being a human. And it's really about, him finding his spot in a world that doesn't necessarily want him to be there. So we get Clark out in the world trying to find himself. And that's really what this movie is about. Him trying to jump from job to job, finding a place where he can fit in without using his superpowers and revealing himself. We get flashbacks to Smallville, also great acting with both Diane Lane and Kevin Costner. Also, what a great father figure in this movie. Again, when he speaks, you listen. He teaches all the moral lessons to Clark early on, and it's really a pull between his two fathers, which way he's going. But the moral compass is obviously Jonathan Kent, and when he dies, and he forces Clark to stay away, it's one of the biggest moments in the movie, and probably one of the most, talked about.
Definitely, it was a very intense scene because see the emotions of him wanting to help his father out, but he can't, and I was like, oh man, that's so damn tough just to watch that scene alone.
We're gonna let Adam get through that.
And he had to trust. He had to trust in his father, right? And it was different. It's not exactly the comic book storyline of his father dying of a heart attack and him not being able to save him, and that's kind of a big thing. But anyway, we get to a bunch of odd jobs, and we finally meet Lois. And you said it earlier, you don't have that real connection between Lois and Clark yet, but this is not a Lois and Clark movie. All right, so we save that for a later date when they've had more in common. They're working on the Daily Planet together. So fast forward a bit of exposition. Finally, we get to Superman donning his armor, his suit. And this is one of the best scenes, in my opinion, of the decade. We have, Hans Zimmer's score coming over, and we get the first shot of him trying to learn how to fly, and
Love the
and that
details.
brings me back, to as a kid, trying to think of, how we can fly, and this movie really did a good job of taking you to that moment of flying through the air with Superman, I thought. So, third chapter, we get to
Jesus.
we get to the third act. General Zod and his goons come and try and take over Earth, try and terraform it, try and find Kal and get the Codex back. And we have these giant, massive fights between supervillains and superheroes, which we haven't really seen before at that scale, I think. And Snyder brings in all that 300 and Watchmen experience and gives us all these dynamic fights through the air and through the city of Metropolis, obviously. And I think the scale of that fight is bigger than even the Avengers during the Chitauri fight. The scale of that fight is just massive. And yes, he did go through a few killings here and there. But I will say this:
Sweep that.
this is an experienced Superman. He literally has the suit on for like an hour or two before he fights. Literally the.
Did he say my bad?
Doesn't need to apologize.
Yeah, he saved the world. Remember, he fights literally his worst villain in General Zod, who was born to commit war. So in the end, it ends in the only way possible, and that's for Superman to kill Zod, right? No, probably not. But Zod says it. You die or I die, and that's how it's going to end. And in the end, he couldn't do anything besides kill Zod or, send him to the Phantom Zone with the rest of them. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to copy Superman 1. I'm not sure.
Two.
To be fair, when Zod was threatening to fight him, remember he was at the bus station? He was about to kill that family with the laser eyes. So I was like, damn, tough call.
Well, in that moment, you could tell from Superman's emotions that, that was something that really struck him, killing the last, line or thread to his people. It really was emotional for him. And in the end, changes his character. He's a little bit moodier, he's a little bit darker, but, this isn't Richard Donner's Superman of the 70s. This is the 2010s version, post 9/11, a little darker, post Dark Knight, obviously. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, it was definitely the DC's filter of, darkness over everything. Now, the scene where Pa Kent tells
Clark,
that's his name. Thank you. To stay. I felt like that scene was almost comically bad when I saw it. In my opinion, I don't think that the emotional thing that they were going for, in the comic books, the reason why him having a heart attack is emotional is because Superman can't save him. He can't change human biology. He could have flown and saved his dad really quick, and no one would have seen who he was.
Maybe no one would have seen him.
But even if they,
he explains this later on. He says he had to trust in his dad to know what he knew, and that if he was exposed, that people wouldn't understand, and people fear what they don't understand. And it took him time to, find a certain event, life-threatening, world-changing event to, expose himself to the world.
I agree that was what they were trying for. I don't agree that the execution was there, because it plays out funny. It plays out with this emotional, I'm good. I'm going to stay in this tornado right here. You could definitely go the route of he could have. I just wish they would have written that different. That was the one thing, and I didn't need the heart attack. I don't need I get that's what they've always done, but I just didn't like how that part played out. So, I mean, that's still my least favorite scene in the movie. I'm like, God, really? Save the dog. That's another thing. I love my dog. I'm probably not going to run into a tornado to get my dog.
Sorry, Internet.
I'm sorry, Coda. My wife's going to hate me for this comment, but I'm not going to run into a tornado. It just made Pa Kent feel like God, you're an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate you're trying to save people, but that's not. It's a dog.
Well, I will say this: it did spawn the equivalent of the MCU for DC,
Oh, God.
for better or worse.
Their equivalent.
And this
Their
was
equivalent.
the first of a story arc which was not finished. And eventually maybe we will get the release the Snyder Cut.
Oh God.
And finally,
Please.
It won't
finally
save it.
realize
You know what?
the final
Please
chapter
do.
and arc of this series.
Because I know it's not going to make the movie any better.
Justice League. You don't think that that's going to make the Justice League?
No.
any better? Oh God.
You don't think his final, the final arc for Superman would be that Boy Scouts, man and the
No.
one that we know at the end of the series? You
I
don't think it would
enjoy
finally
Man
get
of Steel, and I would enjoy another Man of Steel. I'm saying I want them to release the Snyder Cut so that you can all still be disappointed, and then you'll be like, someone will be like, but there's a final cut. And you'll be like, release the final cut.
See, you're also talking about Superman's Arc 2, which I agree. I would love to see fully realize. The problem is that the sequel to this movie, it was one of the biggest pieces of hot garbage in the past decade also. Rather than
False.
giving us Man of
Yeah,
Steel
false.
2,
This is false
we
facts.
get this jumbled fucking corporate mess of BVS.
Corporate mess?
Yes,
The
because
corporate mess
everybody,
was Justice
everybody
League.
wants to
We're
fucking
talking
put. Everybody wants to form the Justice League so quickly because they're in a hurry to catch up to Marvel, rather than flesh out the characters. Instead, we get like. I'm talking shit on BVS right now. Yes, we could have gotten Superman's story more rather than just taking the backseat to introduce Batman, fucking Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and the rest of the Justice League.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hold up. This has nothing to do with like
But this is the
what he's
best.
standing like. This is totally like
Don't
this.
interrupt
This
this
isn't
greatness.
no.
This
This
is
doesn't
great.
like this doesn't help
This
like
is a BVS debate.
yeah. This is not
Yeah,
a
we've already
BVS
had that.
debate. Yeah.
Man of Steel is
So
the-
like this is still. I mean, what you're adding on doesn't it doesn't make it like
Good.
worse.
Stay-
It's
I'm
stay
saying
unbiased.
they set up this
Good job,
chapter
Chai.
with Clark Kent and whatnot, and I agree with a lot of things. I didn't like Kevin Costner as Pa Kent because it was 1.2. He said like, yeah, you should have let those kids die or something like that. When there was one point where he stepped out to save some people. There's just multiple things that I
He
didn't.
was talking about
the
the
school
bus
bus.
incident.
Yeah,
School
I didn't
bus.
understand a lot of the moral values he's trying to give. I understand the thing that America, the world, doesn't understand. They fear what we don't understand and whatnot too. But then it doesn't help when in the end he causes so much collateral damage that the rest of the world notices that this fucking alien just destroyed a big chunk of the city.
You mean save the world?
Did he? I mean, he could have closed Zod's eyes. I'm just saying, cover his fucking eyes rather than just
Yeah.
break his neck right away. Save him for a
That-
sequel.
Well,
The city
if he,
thing I'll
he's
disagree
got him by
with.
the neck. If you go for the eyes, he's probably going to move his head and kill people. Just going to say,
That's the best aspect of that movie. I think you're attacking. Actually,
I'm trying to cut him down. Man.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah, no. Stop defending.
it's hard.
But
I'm a
no.
super-
Yeah,
we are
I
super-
will
we're in
dis-
agreement here.
I will disagree with the city being destroyed and all those people dying.
Yeah.
That's going to happen anyway. The whole world's going to die. That's a bad argument.
Again,
not.
this is
Right.
a Superman that's been in the suit for 2 days or less than that.
He's supposed to be better than us.
He should have had red.
He
trunks.
is.
super.
He
Okay,
is an
that's what I'll
ideal
say.
for us to strive toward.
He should have had his red underwear.
Yes.
That's why they failed.
100%. And also, what does the S stand for again?
Hope.
Just like the hope for the
Look,
Snyder Cut.
We all know that in other languages, letters aren't letters. Okay, so
I
simmer
get
down.
that. I
Yeah.
get that.
A rival over here, all right?
Hope starts with an H.
Let it
stupid.
But
be
it's
anything.
still hilarious.
I also have an issue with Russell Crowe. I don't love Russell Crowe as Jor-El.
Really?
I don't. I don't know why. Maybe it's his bloated face, or I don't know.
damn.
Just
He's
sorry,
not-
Russell Crowe. Don't hit me. I just don't. Some of the casting choices I didn't love. Love Lawrence Fishburne. Love Amy Adams.
Yes.
Didn't love some.
Either
of that.
one of his dads, because I thought they were both fantastic.
No, Kevin Costner is fine as Pa Kent. It's how they handled the
death.
and
The
his
teachings.
his whole just fucking hide. No, you're fucking Superman. Like teach him, but teach him to be smart about it. I don't know, run through the tornado really quickly onto the other side. And people are like, I don't even know where did he go? The tornado must have picked him up, and put him back down. Great. We can't explain it.
I'm
Well,
saying
again,
both dads were
he
pretty
hadn't,
awesome.
He hadn't
Both
tested
casting
himself
of the
fully
dads.
yet either, so
Fucking Crypto,
Yeah.
stupid ass dog.
you should become Crypto.
Right.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, that was a bunch of arguing, maybe
Over-
unnecessarily.
Not about Man of Steel.
Yeah, not quite about Man of Steel. I love getting BVS into every conversation. Now.
Always.
Chai,
All right, okay.
your
All right.
unbiased, unfiltered opinion, please.
All right, an order sequence. All right, so worst to best. Okay, so not gonna lie, Eddie, I'm sorry, I don't really like your choice. Time travel wise, I think there's a lot of
You
better.
don't like
movies.
my movie, or you don't like my argument
I don't like
that
your-
it's a great
All of it.
assassin.
I don't like your
time
pick.
all of
I don't
thing.
think. I don't
Hey,
think it's
let
a
the-
great movie
let the
of the.
moderator.
I don't think it's like the great movie of the decade as far as like time travel. I think There are some other ones. I'm trying to make sure
Yeah,
that
you're trying to think of some time travel movies right
No,
here that
I-
have.
okay,
you know
hang on.
all of them off the top of your
Yeah,
head, sir.
Wait,
actually,
you're
you
asking
know
the
what?
moderator.
Actually, you know what?
You're
The
asking
one.
the judge now.
Hey, God.
Hey,
Correct
I'm
me if I'm
attacking him
wrong.
because he's attacking me.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Is X-Men
Oh God, really?
Days of Future
Did
Past.
you really just
That one
bring
was-
up an X-Men movie for time travel?
It was a good one.
Days
That
of
was
Future Past
actually-
was good.
It was.
Actually,
but you know
I
what?
really because I like the way they did the time travel. I mean, it's almost the same.
The chai travel.
The time travel. Good pun. But I felt like time travel wise, yeah, I see what they're doing. I just didn't like. It didn't make me feel like like it didn't drag my imagination further. Let's
You
just say
didn't
that.
like the scene where they cut the guy's body parts off and he slowly fell up into like a little.
No, I could watch that on Star Wars Episode 3 when Anakin.
That's not the same.
Sorry,
Okay.
I just had to go there. All right, so that was last.
Sorry, Eddie.
Okay, this one I felt like it was a tie because drama and what's it called? What's it called? More mind-boggling.
Inception.
stuff. Yeah,
Mindfuck.
yeah. So I'm really. Don't get me, I watch like some movies like that are very. I mean, I get emotionally attached to, and I understand where Felix is coming from. So I'm trying to like not be biased. Inception was actually in my first pick originally.
Oh, really?
It was.
Nice.
It was in my head, but I was like, okay, I picked this already. I can't just say like this is the best film because obviously it's not fair, right? And so I try to.
You got disqualified.
You got disqualified.
What?
Well, no, you
No,
didn't get
just kidding.
disqualified. I just want to make sure I wasn't.
All right,
just
now
like,
me and Eddie are gonna team up. We're gonna attack the moderator. That's how it's going down now.
So to be fair, like
Nice.
second, I would have to say second. All right. Okay. All right. Runner up. All right. Runner up.
Wait, who was the tie with Sam?
Eddie.
Felix.
So
Okay.
Whiplash
You say
and
yeah,
Inception.
Yeah. So all right. I'm just gonna say no. So this is not the pick yet. All right. This is not the pick. All right. Movie wise. All right. So movie. What's it called? Man of Steel. I think it's a really hard movie to make, like a really strong character, a good storyline. That's always been my biggest issue when I watch like Superman.
Very true.
Or John Wick.
Well,
What was in my argument?
Not even in the same class.
like you watch?
It might as well be. You're not worried that Superman's gonna die. You're not worried that John Wick's gonna die.
It says more to John Wick than it does Superman.
Hey,
Like, John
that's what
Wick
it says
shouldn't be
about
that.
action movies. That's why mine was different.
So I'm really so that's always been hard for me, like watching what's it called? Watching
Godlike characters.
Yeah, that's so hard for me because I'm like, okay, he's so invincible. I get it. He loses to kryptonite, he loses to magic and some kind of wacky poison that only affects male. I'm sure.
And that's it.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, this is so hard. Like, where do I? So, and then Arrival. Yes, I actually really enjoyed it. Actually, and I'm watching most of it. I couldn't believe I actually watched it last night by coincidence. Oh, am I sorry?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so by
you said.
coincidence, this actually Arrival reminds me of what's that movie? Bird Box? Is it Bird Box?
Oh,
Bird
God.
Box, where they're blind.
Yeah, when they're
yeah,
blind.
they're
So because
blindfolded.
you don't see why they die. So now it requires your imagination to take you somewhere else. You know, because now it's like, oh, what are they dying to? Now it's creating a lot of questions. All right. So my pick. All right, runner up, Man of Steel.
Oh. Dang, Arrival then. The language.
That is nuts.
I'd like to thank the Academy for my win.
Wow.
I'd like to thank
Chai, how much is he paying you? How much is he paying you, bro?
Villeneuve for excellent directing.
Get his name right next time.
Yes, I was hoping a trophy was going to get presented, but
I'm still
There you
waiting on
go.
a belt. So-
DJ.
I will accept. I will accept that. I would like it a picture framed. I'm going to put it on my desk. Eddie's
it.
middle finger. Because Arrival,
Yeah.
Looper.
I gotta say-
your movie was Looper.
to try to cut you down, that was hard. That's why I couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
I
literally
mean-
have nothing bad to say about that movie right now.
And honestly,
It's a very interesting movie.
That's the thing is like when we said we're going to do this and we're going to debate, like it was fun. You know, it was funny when we did Star Wars because it's like you made an argument that was so fucking hilarious.
You make,
about
we
trade
can make bad movies
negotiations.
good. Yeah.
You know, it made it fun to defend something that you're like, this was garbage. But
Oh, yeah.
we're going to
Federal
talk about this
trade.
anyway. But,
Fully commit.
yeah, but movie of the decade, like it. Look, Looper. It's not a bad movie. I just,
No,
I can't cut it down. Right.
It's there's so many movies.
It is. It's a
Looper
lot
is
of
amazing.
movies.
Guys, L is where I gave up. I was looking through the movies of the decade, and I was like, no, I loved Looper.
See,
I got this.
you missed one. M was right next. Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
Anyway,
skip past the other choices. So.
very good
Yeah.
choices, gentlemen. Apparently, we have to go see a few that I haven't seen.
You should.
Like Whiplash.
Oh, gotta
and
watch
maybe
that.
go see Arrival again. It was a very good
Drums.
movie.
That's the reason why you
Drums
drums
are awesome.
That's the
Gain
reason why you
appreciation. You'll love this movie.
One
Yeah,
word.
but
drums.
jazz drumming. Mm.
I know jazz
I don't
isn't
know, man.
necessarily cool, but it's fucking awesome. Just go
You know how
watch
many
it.
times I've seen Man of Steel? All right, way too many times compared to your
I'll
two
say,
times
like,
seeing
Superman-
Arrival.
I had the branch
and
off of Man of
Never
Steel
seen
because
that before. That's amazing.
Man of
Like,
Steel is
that's-
hard to cut down. I really did
Yeah.
enjoy it. For it to be able to remake this boring character, I will just dare say, because he's so fucking powerful,
That's right.
to give him dimension and to give him like
Well, what you
drama.
couldn't, what you
know,
couldn't
was
do
good.
is go back and try and do Christopher Reeves again because
Right.
they already did that in
Mhm.
Superman
And-
Returns,
yeah.
and
Ugh,
and
didn't work.
people didn't like it. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
the
a-
audience didn't connect with that.
Yeah.
I did
So,
too.
you know, I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And I will
but
agree
what
with
he
you.
never did was he never threw a punch in that movie ever.
Very true.
So
I will also say the
That's
scene
true.
of him flying for the first time is hands down one of the best scenes of the past decade too. It's just so much emotion in that scene.
Hans
too.
Zimmer score.
It's
Hans Zimmer
fantastic.
is
So
really
Zimmer's
good in that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. Classic.
Very good. Which I think he was also in Inception, right? Hans Zimmer.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he's-
Every
all
other movie
Nolan's
we love.
yeah, if it's not John Williams, it's
Hans
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our list.
Looper then.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this
What
guy.
about who directed that?
directed?
Ryan.
What's the
Ryan?
music score? Is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
music. All right.
The
Oh,
soundtrack
look,
score?
you get a runner-up
He's back.
too.
He's back in the win column. Okay, Knives Out was good. He's a good director. And he tells unique stories, and that was a good point that you actually brought up, which made me, like, it's unique. It's not not something that needs a sequel. It's not something. It's a standalone, unique story, and
You're
we
right,
don't
no
get
sequel.
that. We do not get that very often.
Yep.
It was a good
That's
story.
why it stood out. Because I was gonna pick John Wick and try to be funny, and I was like,
You would have actually been pandering to the right audience.
of
though.
course, everyone here would be like,
Oh my God.
I love John Wick. He's so
And then
strong.
instead he went with Looper. He's
You
not
might
knowing
need
his
to work
audience.
on your impersonations because your Leo DiCaprio, when we were talking about Inception, was a little bit off. I didn't know that Leo talked that way. Like, oh, my kids. I'm like, what?
So is this bad? I have not watched any of the John Wick movies at all.
That's very
What the
bad.
Oh,
fuck
it's
is
very
wrong
good.
with
Even
I'm
you?
gonna
I've
bench
seen
through
him.
it.
I don't
I'm gonna
love
bench
him.
through
What?
it again.
Okay.
You saw all the
You get
Fallen
the
movies. You
moderator?
haven't seen one John Wick.
You're gonna
movie.
watch him on 3 screens.
Yeah,
Try-
3 screens.
No,
same
one at a
time.
time.
Trying to watch
I mean,
every film
you'd
of the
probably
decade.
be able to keep up with
to be
it. There's
ready.
not a lot of plot.
Yeah, it's not. Pew pew.
All right, guys. We'll come back to you here in a minute with Quiz from Sam. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Woo.
11 a.m. Is it 11 a.m.? We're late. Oh, we're late, aren't we? Okay, locked. Let's go. Showtime, 11 a.m. Woo. So we're filming our 100th episode at the Palms. Definitely excited. Not all of us, we didn't think we'd made it this far, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the whole team minus Jose. Sorry, Jose. I know you want to be here, but it's gonna be a big deal. So I hope you can make it in the future episodes. But 100th episode, we get to do it where we started, how we all started, and at the Brenden Theatres at the Palms. Shit, I was only 17 years old when I started this. So this area has changed so much. Like if you take a look, pan this way, yeah. So this used to be like the box office area where you buy tickets. Now times like everything's changed. You could just do all in one location, which is really crazy. Like we used to do a lot of promotional events, celebrities, previews, sneak peeks, late nights and stuff like that. Yeah. It scares me so much. Okay, we're just starting the show. Go. Oh yeah,
Catch you, bro.
Hey. Hey yo.
It was like one of those movies.
What's right here?
When you're at the theater, that just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll go sit next to you.
At
Just
least
give me 1 second.
there. Oh, that's really kind of loud. Turn that down just a bit.
So quick story, Gagne was actually my boss. And how old were you, Gagne, during that time?
I came out here when I was 20, so I was the GM by 21. Actually, I got promoted just before my 21st birthday, so it,
Sure, I was only 17.
a 21-year-old kid hiring high school kids to manage a theater and a multi-million-dollar theater in Las Vegas. Doesn't sound like a good idea when you're like in your 30s and an adult, but when I was young, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So this guy was one of my initial hires. Sam, all these guys, and they ended up becoming my management staff. So got kind of lucky. Got a little bit lucky,
Who knew we would make it this far?
right?
After so many years. Alright, so we're on the next segment that they usually do. It's called the movie quiz. I'm really bad with movie quizzes because I have no clue what they talk about, what they talk about. I just know the movie. I have no clue who the actors or directors are sometimes. So maybe I just put Kevin Fill in this round.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are here for our first quiz of the year. Sam Lim.
Yes.
You got us a quiz for us.
Yeah,
Let's
little
start with
stuff.
you.
Little fun stuff.
All right, let's go.
So
Nervous
this quiz took us between 2001 to 2006. This is gonna be starting off with our first summer movie.
Wow, this is so hard. What?
I don't even remember what happened last week.
I think Flex might get it. I'm not sure.
Are we starting?
that was the
first
question.
question?
What was our first summer blockbuster movie in 2000?
Oh no. I'll have the question ready.
Oh.
All right. Here we go. Let's go.
Just prefaced by it's from 01 to 06.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. You guys ready?
Nope.
Please name the Disney film that we had a cross promo with at McDonald's that allowed guests to bring in little ice cream cones. It was a animated Disney film.
God, I fucking
Oh my
Felix?
God.
Yeah, Felix.
Shit, is it Brother Bear?
No.
No.
Before that.
Yeah, that's way before. my
Gagne, Chicken Little.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Man, this must be before my time.
time. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's all before. Well, besides Gagne and Felix, that's it.
Anyone will try it?
No.
It was Lilo and Stitch.
God.
Oh,
Dang.
Remember we
that
had
far
that
back?
crazy ass promo?
I remember that.
Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. We did a promo where we gave out free ice cream cones, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
And the first theater I cleaned, I saw the ice cream trail from the entrance
Oh, yeah.
going all the way upstairs. I'm like, cool, great day.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, right?
All right, let's
I'm
do
glad it
this
didn't
one.
start then.
I wish I had his memory. Like I'm connecting the dots now, but I wouldn't have been able to get
My
that
bad.
without.
My bad. Here, this one I'm sure everybody can possibly get. What movie starring Eric Bana, Orlando Bloom, and Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Wait,
Try.
let me
Sorry.
finish. Let me finish. That may or may not cause certain staff members to throw their brooms like spears.
Chai.
Gagne.
Damn, who the hell was it?
I want
I
to say
think
Chai.
Chai.
Troy.
Yes.
Troy.
Good work.
Yeah.
Do I write my own points? Or do I give you?
Nah.
Sam's going to do points, I think.
Yep.
The Eric Bana being listed first threw me off.
I agree.
Exactly. That was my idea.
And Brad Pitt not being
I'm
mentioned.
actually
at
really
all.
surprised. I remembered who Eric Banner, right?
Eric Bana.
He did play
Bana.
Bruce Banner
Yeah,
at
I
one
did
point.
That's how
Yeah,
I
which is
can't believe I
weird.
remembered him.
All right. Please name the movie that we played on a 24-hour loop.
Chai.
Yes.
X-Men.
And
Oh, there's more? We're talking multiple movies?
you didn't answer it right.
no.
You didn't answer the name
Felix.
right.
I said
No,
Eddie.
Eddie actually was.
All right, fine.
Is
whatever.
X2.
It was X2.
Yes, take your damn point.
Dang it, I was on the right track.
You were there.
Yeah, you're on the
were
right
there.
track. But
Said
you just
X-Men.
didn't-
I can't believe I got that right.
That was on 24.
There's a photo
Yeah, it was.
around somewhere of me like in my slippers. Like I'd slept in my office for like 3 or 4
Yeah, we
hours.
were working-
I came down at like the 3 a.m. show and I was like in slippers and I was like, fuck it. I don't know.
Wow.
Was
It
there
was,
anybody there?
It was
Like
a
you-
12-hour. Yeah, it was a 12-hour boot shift. That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
12-hour boot
I
shift.
do remember that now.
Yeah.
I think I
Yep.
came in like
That
right
shit doesn't
after
happen
that.
anymore.
All right. You guys ready?
No.
So for the next one, I'm gonna give you the name of 5 movies. Okay. So
Oh, God.
be ready to write it down. All right, hang on. Okay.
What are we writing now?
Apparently
5
some
movies.
sort of order.
No
5
order,
movies.
right? No order. Hang on. Details.
No,
Details.
just write down the 5 movies first.
Okay.
So write down Men in Black 2,
Oh god.
Spider-Man, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Star Wars Episode 2, Lord of the Ring.
Hold on, you're going too fast.
Sorry.
Star Wars Episode 2.
Yep.
Okay. And Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, 2 Towers.
What was after Harry Potter?
After Harry Potter was
Star Wars Episode 2.
Star Wars Episode 2.
You said Chamber of Secrets for Harry Potter?
Yeah.
And just Spider-Man?
Yes,
Regular
Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man?
Yeah. Which one?
Just give me a second.
Okay.
I'll make sure everybody writes down first.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody wrote down these movies already, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all have the same answers, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So out of these 5 films, please give me the top 3
Cheating.
films, top 3 grossing films of 2002.
Shit.
Whoever has it ready can chime in and try their best.
No order, correct?
Just give me top 3. I won't take order. Just give me top 3.
I'm just going
Gagne.
to. Ah, damn it.
Okay, Gagne, hit me.
I'm going to go with Spider-Man, Episode 2, and Lord of the Rings.
Nope.
Chai.
Really? Oh, shit.
Okay, Jai.
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars.
So close. Nope.
Felix.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Spider-Man, MIB2.
Nope.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter.
Correct, sir.
Wait,
Well played.
Lord
Say
of
that
the
again?
Rings, huh? Lord
Lord of the Rings,
I
Star
said
Wars,
that.
Harry Potter.
You said. Did you say?
No, you said Spider-Man.
wow. Why
Did you? Go
I-
back. Check the tape.
Check the tape.
Oh my!
He
I said
said-
Spider-Man.
You said Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
That is so dumb. I wrote Lord of the Rings and I read Spider-Man. Wow. I'm
Yeah,
a
You
some
wrote it
are.
down right.
I am
Oh,
trolling.
man, dyslexia.
I am so trolling.
We're getting old. We're
He,
getting old.
he wrote it down. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, episode 2.
I am trolling. All right.
that was
well,
the order, though, right? Oh. Star Wars was before Harry Potter?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah. it's
Either
okay.
way.
I thought he
Alright.
said
Lord of
I-
the Rings, huh?
I am
Yes, sir.
trolling.
Okay. Now the follow-up question to this question is: can you name me for those top 3 films? Can you name me the distributors?
The
Gagne.
Jesus.
Okay, Gagne, hit me.
Lord of the Rings is technically New Line.
Correct.
Harry Potter's Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And Star Wars is Fox.
No, Spider-Man's on there, not Star Wars.
Oh, I was reading.
Oh my God, you trolled
I was
yourself.
reading Chai's list. My apologies. I know Spider-Man is Sony. Let's be fair. But if you want to give that to someone else, fine. But
No, you got it. No, he's reading off my list.
I was reading off his list because I was like, oh, he had it right.
There's some cheaters over here.
No,
I don't know, Sam. That's up to
okay.
you.
Yeah, you call it.
Yep. You're
You
the
can give me
quiz master.
2/3 of 1 point. you are the quiz master. It's up to you.
Everybody's
The
looking at
pressure
me.
is on.
Yeah, pressure.
All right, you're disqualified. I'm sorry.
This is the way.
So someone hurry up and chime in and cash out.
Sorry.
Hurry up.
I already forgot what the answers were.
I just need a distributor, guys.
Sure, Adam. New
Yeah.
Line. What did you say now? Warner Brothers and Sony. Right?
Okay, so you get the point.
There you go.
Boo.
Okay. You guys ready? In 2002, what film won the Caesar Award for Best Film, Best Director, Best Music, and Best Art Direction?
Going back.
Sorry, guys.
The Caesar Award?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Caesar.
Cesar. Caesar home.
I didn't even work. Did I work in 2000? No, I worked in 2000.
I'm gonna
so
take
I'm
a
out.
stab in the dark.
Yeah.
Gagne. Moulin Rouge.
No, sir. Hint, it was a French film.
Chocolat.
It's called Chocolate. It stars Johnny Depp.
Chai, 99 balloons.
No, sir.
That's a song.
Yeah. That's German, I think.
Dang
Alright.
it.
I think we're all failing on this one.
Okay.
Which film?
Amelie.
Wow.
Don't remember.
I didn't know what that was.
Sam showing his artsy side.
I'm just trying to spice it up, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, how about this? 2004 Critics' Choice Award. What movie won the Best Director and Best Film?
So many years.
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
It's like a history lesson.
It shows our memory.
You said,
I know,
hang on.
right?
Can you repeat the question?
2004.
Yes. In 2004, for the Critics' Choice Award, what movie won the Best Director and Best Film?
Chai,
Yes.
Lord of the Rings.
Fuck yeah, correct.
Nice.
Sam seemed surprised by the answer. Like, oh,
You got it.
yes,
it
that
was,
actually is right.
Don't
Lo-
say it. Ask him which movie.
I mean, yeah. Which one?
Can you name the director?
Nope.
That should count for something.
All right.
That should count
It's
for
the third
something.
one, right? Return of the King.
I don't know. Which
No.
I'm asking.
It actually it was Return
Yeah,
of
it
the
is
King.
Return.
Was it really?
But you can't name the director. Didn't you
I don't know
ask
the
that?
director.
Wasn't that part of the?
No.
You said
Or-
what
He said what
movie?
What movie?
And
What? No, he said what? Which movie won these two awards?
Best Picture and Best
oh,
Director.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's Peter Jackson.
It is.
Can I get something?
No.
Mercy.
High five.
Yeah, right? Good job.
That's why I was very
I only have
surprised.
one
I was
point,
just
so you
shocked.
can't have a mercy
I have
point.
spoken.
Okay. How about this? This should be a little easier. Name the actress that won the Critics' Choice Award, Golden Globe for drama, and Academy Award and SAG Award for the movie Monster. Name the actress.
Gagne.
I'll only just the actress. Yes.
Charlize Theron.
Take it.
Nice.
My love. Hi, Charlize. I love you.
Charlize.
If you guys have not seen Bombshell, she's fantastic in it. So,
All right. We're going to get a little crazy in here.
We did talk about it a little bit.
What film was co-written and directed by Mel Gibson in 2004?
Felix.
Yes.
Shit.
That's not the
Hey.
right.
Was it Passion of the Christ?
Yes, it is the right.
Question
I
mark.
forgot that. I
There was
always
a
forget
question
that he
mark
directed
in
that
there.
movie.
I thought that was earlier than 2004.
Directed by Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Highest rated
Ah,
art movie.
I got it.
For
For the time, yeah. Yeah, for a long time.
How about this? Please name the highest grossing film of 2004 that was by DreamWorks.
Gagne.
Eddie.
Yes, Kanye.
Shrek.
Son of a bitch.
Which one?
Dos.
Okay.
Oh, good call.
Good stuff, Gagne.
Lucky.
Lucky. Who's won the most quizzes?
Touche.
All right. It's on. It's on.
Here you go. I spiced it up a little bit. Okay. What 2005 film did 50 Cent make his debut in?
Felix.
Gagne.
Damn it.
Wait, was it Felix first?
It
I think
was.
Felix. Okay.
Shit.
That's also not the
Shit.
Get Rich or Die Trying? Is that what it was?
Yes, it is the one.
Oh.
Good job.
I
I was
don't know.
waiting. I was like, I'm gonna strike.
Oh my god. It's the only movie I think I've seen him in.
Actually,
I didn't even see it.
I don't
saw
think
the
I was like,
poster.
I don't think I saw that. So
Okay. I'm gonna name a bunch of movies again. I'm gonna name 5 films.
You have to write it
Okay.
down.
Yes. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Chronicles of Narnia. The first one. We'll keep it simple. Let's see here. War of the Worlds. Star Wars Episode 3. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now, please give me the top 3 grossing of 2005.
Adam.
Okay, Adam, hit me.
Yep. Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Negative.
Chai.
Yes.
Star Wars, Harry Potter, War of the Worlds.
Nope.
Felix.
Yes.
Star Wars, Harry Potter, Narnia.
Correct.
Ha.
Narnia,
Process of
really?
elimination.
All right. Wait till everybody else goes. Then.
Narnia, really?
I feel like the
Narnia.
point should
Right.
I know,
decrease.
right?
These books, these people, they have fandoms already, so they show up.
That's probably true.
Okay. So, same thing again. Please name me the distributors for these 3
God.
films.
Is that the right answer?
Yes. Oh, no, that's not the right answer.
Don't look at this paper.
Narnia was 3, right?
Yes.
Narnia.
Star Wars was 1 and Harry Potter was 2?
Yes.
Gagne.
Yes.
Star Wars is Fox. Harry Potter is Warner
yeah,
Brothers.
it's the same one.
And Narnia is Disney.
Yes. Take your point.
That was
Nice, nice.
I need to check it out.
I know. I was like, don't give me the fucking wrong answer again.
Wow.
I got disqualified
There's no
last
teamwork
time.
here.
I'm that guy in the classroom who's like, hey, I got the
Hey,
answer.
get it wrong.
Wow. I didn't know we're doing it this way. Okay. Already here. Oh, this one's super easy. Please name the 2004 film that was released by Broken Lizard.
Eddie.
Gagne.
I think it was Eddie first.
Club Dread.
Correct, sir.
Nice.
Yay!
Good job.
Point for Eddie. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
That was definitely one.
That was a pretty terrible movie.
It was bad. Lots of boobies.
It was.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
How many we got left,
Ooh.
and what's the score, Sam?
All right. So right now the score is we have Felix and Gagne tied. Everybody else has 2.
What are they?
All right.
We have 3
they have-
each.
Yeah, 3 each.
I have 3?
Okay. How many more we got?
We have
He was
3
asking
more
for a
left.
pity point, like a
No, I do
second
get 3. I got the 50,
he did
I got
get
50
3.
Cent. I got the last round of movies, and then I got
Yeah, he did. He did
no
get
because his
50
racist ass.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. Let's do this.
Strong finish.
Please name the film that won 6 Razzies for 2003.
Adam.
Felix. Sam.
That was Adam.
Sam.
Geely.
Yes,
Oh.
that is correct.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna say Catwoman.
Also, yeah, that
Also
was,
terrible.
Also a bad movie.
might have been the next year, I think.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was when I was working.
Okay, here we go. Second and last one. Name the 2004 film starring Johnny Knoxville and Dwayne Johnson.
Felix.
Adam.
That was Felix first, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I immediately regret.
Don't
calling
say
out.
shit.
Oh my god.
Don't
no
say
one
shit.
anything, or I'll punch you, Chai.
Oh damn it!
Oh my God.
5,
No, I'm drawing a blank.
4,
That was a mistake.
Picture
3,
the poster. I can't. Yeah.
2.
I don't. Damn it! I was thinking of
Juan.
Did you say it?
I just broke
Didn't
something.
you say your name too?
Okay,
It was
who's
pretty close. I don't.
who was second? I can't.
Either me or him.
It's these two.
Wait, between who?
It's these two.
All right, Roshan, for it then.
Walking Tall.
Okay.
Good win.
Okay.
All I could picture was the rundown.
I just watched the movie.
Yeah. I had the same answer, by the way. Just,
You can share that point.
yeah, we split points. Is that what we did? I like it.
Oh, jeez. All right, here's the last one. Super easy. Please name this 2005 films featuring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Vince Vaughn,
Eddie.
Cedric the Entertainer. Is it Eddie?
Yeah. Be Cool.
Yes.
Very
He
good.
didn't technically wait till you're done, so those are the
point.
rules.
Half point.
Does that mean Eddie wins? Was that the last question?
Yeah, it was. So Eddie takes it for 4 points.
Oh, man. I
First,
should not have given
first
you
quiz
that
of the
one.
year.
I thought you was waiting for Grandma's Boy for one.
Even a blind squirrel finds his nut.
I can't be blind on 2020.
Well played. I like that one. That was good.
Dad jokes for the win. Literally.
Awesome. Very good. First win of the year. First time he ever shows up for the podcast live. Good job.
Shows up and wins.
This guy.
That is some
over here.
bullshit.
And I gave him a free point.
Take him home.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that history lesson.
And
Good
the
job.
significance
A
of
lot
the
of tough years on that one.
The 2001 to 2006 was pretty
That
much
was-
the whole time we were all together.
Yeah.
Mostly.
That was when we worked here at the theater.
Yeah.
Cause a lot
like
of
it,
chaos.
I like it.
I think the first movie that started when I was here was Van Helsing.
It was Jason X for me.
Yeah.
Jason X was on my first schedule. I remember
Beautiful.
that very clearly.
We didn't have shit when we first opened. We were
Yeah.
always getting outbid by Cinemark,
Right.
which was
Yeah.
New Orleans,
Century
yeah.
Theaters at that point, and constantly just waiting. Like, it's funny, you were naming off some of those movies, and I'm like, I was waiting for you to ask which one did we actually play here, because we didn't
Right.
get Star Wars, and we didn't get Harry Potter, and we didn't get Spider-Man. and
Well, no, we
didn't
did.
get shit.
We ended up getting Star Wars and Spider-Man, but like months later.
Oh, yeah. It's
After
like
it played, we're like,
25
wow.
weeks later.
Yeah.
There you go. Yay.
All right, guys. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the movie draft.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Cue up elevator music.